We can hear you.
Yes. Mhm.
We can hear you.
Yes. Mhm.
We can hear you.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. Shall we start? Thank you. Okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming today. We are here today to talk about our amazing app, Kodokura. But first, We let can me hear you. introduce you the men of
Yes. Mhm.
summer. With people from around the world, from Asia and Europe, thank you. Our team has a multicultural background. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming today. We are here today to talk about our amazing app, Kodokura. But first, We let can me hear you. introduce you the men of
Yes.
summer. Yes. Don't worry, Felix. Yes, I can start all the times you want. It's not a problem. Okay. I hope this is the good one. So, hello again, everybody, and thank you for coming today. We are here today to talk about our amazing app, Kodokura. But first, let me introduce you our team, the Men of Summer. With people from Asia and Europe, our team has a multicultural background. Also, some of us are even in different time zones. And speaking of different time zones, we have Florian from Germany.
Guten Tag.
Florian is one of our full stack developers, also focusing in the backend. And together with Florian, working also in the backend, we have Tomoyuki from Japan. From France, we have two front-end developers, Vincent and Philippe.
Bonsoir.
And lastly, from Spain, you have me, also working in the front end. But next, let me tell you a little bit about some important topic. The loneliness epidemic. This is a very important topic, and it's very important, especially nowadays, because more than 2 in 10 adults say that they feel lonely or left out or isolated. And this is because our ancestors, as human beings, depended on group cohesion to survive. And now that we are living strange times with this COVID-19, this isolation feeling has been growing. And for that reason, we decided to create our application, Kudokura. In case you feel lonely, you just have to use our app, and soon you will be connecting with other person that, with our magic algorithm, we will match for you. So you can start speaking and not feeling alone anymore. And to speak with more detail about Kodokura, I'll pass over to Florian.
Thank you, Eduardo. So, first of all, what is the meaning even of Kodokura? So we started with some very simple or kind of misleading names like Lonely or Lonely Nights, but in the end we decided for Kodokura, which is a combination of the Japanese words Kodoku and Kurabo, so loneliness and club. So welcome to the Loneliness Club. So let me introduce you the core functionality of our mobile-first web application to you. So whenever you're feeling lonely, you're basically just one button click away from being matched with the most suitable chat partner that's available. So what is the difference to other chat applications out there? So for one, as I mentioned, it's very quick and simple. And it's also not necessary for you to directly approach other users because we do that for you. Also, you're anonymous, so you don't need to worry about that. And last but not least, our matching is based on your interests, so you definitely have something to talk about with your chat partner. Let's have a look at the matching. How does it exactly work? So you start off by entering a queue, just a simple button click, and the rest we are doing. Our algorithm analyzes your profile and we check if your language matches with the other users or if you are on the block list of other users. And most importantly, we calculate the score based on your interests, and then create a new chat room for just you and the other chat room user. And our lovely chatbot, CodeBot, which supports you in creating conversations. How all of this looks in action, Philippe will show you now.
So hi everybody, my name is Philippe. I'm gonna run you through our demo tonight. So let's say I just arrived in Japan 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately I arrived at a really big bad timing since we're in the global pandemic, and I have to quarantine for a few weeks right now. And a few days in, I'm starting to feel a bit lonely. So and I discovered this nice application a few days ago. So let's try it right now. So first I'm gonna log in with my account. And here I am. And as Feren said, you're only one click away from chatting with someone. And to do that, we just have to click on find someone to talk to. So here the algorithm is checking and looking for a partner for us. And nice, and I just matched with someone, and that person seems to be Jim Cook. So hi Jim Cook. Let's say hi to Jim Cook and let's see what he has to say. And he's asking if I'm an Apple user, so unfortunately right now I am using Android. And let's see what Jim Cook has to say to that. Oh, he just told me to get an iPhone. They have very good products, but unfortunately I don't want to use an iPhone right now. And he just asked our bot what he feels about his statement. And he's starting to spam me, so I feel a bit, I don't feel comfortable here, so I'm gonna block him and leave that chat right now. And Kodokura has like a profile here, so I can go to a profile because I might want to chat with someone else with a different profile or with different interests. So I'm gonna go into the profile and change my interests since I might not want to talk with someone who has music taste anymore. Maybe Jim Cook has like J-pop and K-pop taste, so I'm gonna take those out. And take out the music checkbox here. And I might want to change my preferences, so I'm gonna go to movies and check something else. So I like action movies and sci-fi movies. And I wanna save that. I'm done here. And I saw that they have really good like avatar 3D animals. And I'm gonna change that as well. Let's pick lion here. Seems really cool. And save that. And I can also change the language I speak. So the algorithm is matching you with people who speak the same language as you. So I have English already selected. But if I wanted, I could select other language as well that I speak. So I'm going to go back to English and save that. And go back to the home page. And right now, I'm gonna try to match again with someone and see what happens. So the algorithm is checking and looking for a perfect partner for me. And I just matched with someone who is called Feren. It might be Feren from Germany, we don't know. So hi Feren. And let's see what Feren has to say. And of course, that's nice because I just checked movies interested. So of course I like movies. And what about you? And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for Feren to answer me, I can also interact with the small avatar here, and also Feren's avatar if I wanted to, like to spin them around and hopefully they don't puke in the end. And Feren just asked me if I like Avengers. Of course, that was like a great movie from last year, right? So, oh my god, I like this movie as well. And we can also call our bot in the chat, so I can type in hey Kodobot. And Kodobot is gonna answer us. And I can also ask Kodobot his favorite movie. So, favorite movie, Kodobot? And here he said Terminator. So yeah, it's like feels kind of normal for a bot. So let's hope they're not gonna take over the Earth soon. And now that I finished talking with Feren, I can leave the chat. And I can also log out here. and go back to the main page. And since I really like that application and I want to learn more about who created this application, I can go to the About page and check the team who created it and maybe a bit more information about Kodokura. And we also created this application with a mobile design first in mind, but it's also available in desktop if you wanted to use it on desktop, and it's fully like functional as well, so you can use it. And that's it for the demo. I'm gonna pass it back to Vincent, who is gonna talk to you about our tech stack.
Thank you, Philippe. So for our tech stack, we are mainly using JavaScript. For the backend, we are using Firebase for the real-time database, very useful for the chat. And we kept going with Firebase for the authentication, the cloud, and the hosting. We are using an Express server. And for the front end, we are using React with React Router to easily switch between pages. And then we are using React 3 Fiber for all the cute avatars we have. And finally, we are using Sass for a more efficient and beautiful style. Next, for our future features, we'd like to implement function to report users as you need it. We'd like to add emojis and GIFs. Add a friend list. We just have a block list. It's a bit sad, so friend list allows you to chat again with your friends. Next, mini games to enjoy with your new friends. And then a score to unlock new avatars coming soon. And finally, internationalization. Bring the app all over the world in their own language. Next, Tomoyuki will talk about the challenges.
Thank you, Vincent. In this project, we heard many challenges that are technical and non-technical challenges. First, I want to start with technical challenges. First, real-time matchmaking and chatting feature. As you saw before, we had real-time matchmaking and chatting function, but the kind of functions are really different from traditional, typical CRUD type application. So we need to become familiar with database, real-time database, protocols, toolset, and also we need to design the sequence to how to matchmake real-time. Next, NoSQL data modeling. In this project, we are using NoSQL database. As you know, this kind of database is very different from traditional SQL database, so we need to become familiar with this kind of database. So we need to learn principles and practices to how to read this kind of data effectively. Then, integration of 3D object into the user interface. Okay, we have very cute avatars in 3D object. So, but we are really completely new to work with 3D objects. So we have to learn how to build 3D object, how to move it, how to export it and import it to JavaScript world, and how to integrate our user interfaces. That was really difficult for us. Next, non-technical challenges. Project management in a remote and multicultural team. As Edward said before, we have very different cultural background in one team, and we also all are non-native English speaker. Then also we are working in remote and on-site. So this kind of project management is very difficult compared to basic type project management. So what we did was communicate. So we very frequently communicate on Slack and Discord to synchronize whole thing happening in this project, and also used many tools like a Kanban board and wikis to things keep transparent. Okay, then I will pass it over to our tech lead, Edward.
Okay, thank you, Tomoyuki. And thank you, everyone, for your attention today. Feel free to use this QR code to download our application. And if you feel lonely, you can chat with somebody. Also, if you want to contact us, you can do it accessing our application and going to the section About Us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Men of Summer. It's been really excited to see that project develop, or it's been really exciting to see that project develop because, yeah, sort of by luck of the draw, they were placed on this team where none of them spoke English natively. Half of them were remote, and I think that you can see the results speak for themselves. So awesome, awesome work, Team Men of Summer. You're over there now. And the weather's going to be kind of bad this weekend, so why not download their app and try it out for yourself. So up next is going to be Team Uncle Sean. I'll let them explain that to you in their presentation, and they're going to be bringing you Munchify. Munchify is your restaurant concierge, so super excited to see what lovely dishes they have for us this evening. So everyone, let's welcome Team Uncle Sean.
Thank you, Heather. Welcome. So today we're gonna present you our app called Munchify. So the name Munchify is a combination of the word munch, to eat, and identify. So what it does essentially is that it gives you a restaurant that perfectly match your preference and gives you an experience that you're having your own personal restaurant. So, and so yeah, so we are Team Uncle Sean, and the team name that's coming from the Sean right here, our tech lead, and I'm going to introduce our team member. So first we got Ari.
Hi, my name is Ari. I worked on backend and machine learning.
And we got Sean.
Hello, my name is Sean. I was the tech lead for this project and the namesake of the team.
And we got Alberto on remote right here.
Hola from Mexico. My name is Alberto and I work on the back end and the front end.
And I'm Yuri. I worked on both front end and back end. And the last we have Dylan.
Hi, I'm Dylan and I work on the front end.
And this is our team, and now I'm going to pass on to Sean to talk about the story.
So the story here is actually the story of the creation of our app and why we made it anyway. So what we did was we come up with a persona named Sam, and she's in Tokyo right now and she's kind of hungry. And she would like to go to a restaurant with her partner. But they don't want to just go to any restaurant, they'd like to go to a restaurant where her and her partner's tastes are suitably matched together, and the restaurant that they're looking for is right up there, easy for them to find, and matching both of their tastes. So what they have with them is a kind of mobile device. So this was the beginning of our story, and in reply to this story, to kind of solve the problem that these people are having, we present you the app Munchify. Now I'm going to give a quick demonstration of this application. So if we move over to the emulator, this is available on Android right now and hopefully iOS in the future, as this was made to be cross-compatible. So when you first log in, you arrive at a landing page where it welcomes you into the app. So we're welcomed here as logged in as Sam today, who you may remember from the start of the story. So what I want to do when I first come to a restaurant app is probably search for restaurants. So we'll click on the search button and head straight on in. So this first restaurant I've actually been to, this is Meiji Jingu Mai. This is an udon restaurant. I would actually recommend this myself, so I think me and Sam have very similar tastes. I've been here recently though, so I don't want this one today. I'm in the middle of something right now. So I'm going to say no to this restaurant. To do that, I'm going to swipe the card to the left, and I will be presented with another recommended restaurant. So this is the second most recommended restaurant for Sam today. Since it's the most recommended restaurant I've never been to, let's click on it. So let's go to the right to say that we're interested in this and we'd like to find out some more information. And you'll be brought to a page here where you'll have more information about the restaurant. So we've got basic details, location details, and payment details. And if I scroll back up to the top, maybe I really would like to go to this craft beer restaurant. Actually, I probably would. But not right now. I'm in the middle of presenting. So I'll add this to my favorites. We'll come back to that. And we'll go back. We'll get beer later. So if we head on back, some other fun features in the app. So if we click on preferences, maybe beer is not the best thing to be drinking in the middle of a presentation, but I do like meat. So let's go with yakiniku, yakitori, and yeah, we can have izakaya as well. We'll sneak that in later. So if we scroll down to the bottom, there are lots of different preferences you can fill in. So your price range, location you want to eat at. We're just going to set the preferences like this and go through for now and see what we get. So what that's going to do is it's going to send a request to the database. The database is going to check the ID for who it is, filter out all the restaurants that don't meet these preferences, send it through the recommendation system, and recommend the restaurants that best suit these preferences. So what we've got here is the most recommended restaurant that matches the yakitori, yakiniku, izakaya combo. Since it's the most recommended, we'll just swipe yes on it. Now, I've never been to this restaurant before either, and I don't know where it is. And since I'm not entirely confident in the kanji on this one, I might click the Go to Maps. This will take me across to the Google Maps, where it will place a pin on Google Maps, and I'm sure you all know how to work your way from there. You can find your navigation route. So this one's in Shibuya. That's not too far from here if you want to go later. So if we head back to the application now, we can head back to the search screen, and we can go find some more fun things to do. So one more button on here, we've got the user. So if we click on the user, we've got a couple more features in here. Favorites is in the middle. We were just talking about the favorites earlier, so let's have a look in there. So in here is the favorites list of everything saved. So the top one here is the Shaun the Sheep Cafe. That must be put there because of my name. Let's delete that one. That's embarrassing. That can go away. So bye-bye, Shaun the Sheep. So that will delete it not only from the database, but the front of the app as well. So that's disappeared. Let's go back into the user before there's any more embarrassing restaurants. So let's do this in order this time. Let's go for share. Share is right at the top. So on here, you'll get a unique identifier code that's unique to every user that logs in. So if you click on this code, it'll be copied to your clipboard because who's remembering that? Now, if we go back and head into receive, let's say you're with your partner and you're both using the app and you've got a lot of restaurants that you've swiped on and you have decided you liked. Well, that data is saved into the database. So we've got your taste preferences saved, and we've got your partner's taste preferences saved from them using the app. So what we're going to do here is type in or paste in the code that your partner has. Now, we copied our own code, so if we paste in our code and then our code again, it's really not doing anything. That's just our taste buds twice. So I'm going to type in my taste buds and see the recommended restaurants for both me and Sam. So my code area is 111. It's a short, easy to remember one because I'm a dev and it's much easier this way. So if we hit submit, what that's going to do is it's going to correlate the two people's data and then return to you a recommended restaurant for both of you. So our recommended restaurant for both of us here is actually a cafe. So it looks pretty pretty. Maybe me and Sam have similar tastes. This is something I'd probably go for. So that's how that works. And there's a couple more features to use there, but I'd like to move on and take you to the Home tab instead. We haven't clicked on this one yet. It takes us back to where we started, so it's a full round loop. There's the profile button here where you can go in and change your user settings, so change your password and log out and any other user settings you need to fill in. And the About button down here, if we click on that, will tell you about the application itself, the reason why we made it, and all of the different developers, GitHub handles, and LinkedIn handles. So thank you for listening for the demo. We'll head back to the presentation where Yuri will take over and tell you about our tech stack.
All right, thank you, Sean. So I'm going to talk about the tech stack that we use for our app. So first, we use MongoDB for backend, for database, and we use mongoose to query. And for the server framework, we use Express and Auth0 for the user authentication. And the most important part, we use Python for machine learning to give back the user preference. And for the front end, we use React Native and also Redux for the state management. And next, I'm going to pass on to Alberto to talk about the data and database.
Thank you, Yuri. I'm going to explain how the team managed the flow of the data and we choose our database. Well, from our React Native front end, we connect to our server, which currently we decided to host it through Heroku. Now, all the restaurant's information comes from the API of Gurunavi Web Services, which we also manage through our server and backend as well. For our database, we choose MongoDB Atlas, which is a cloud-based database service, so it will be easier for all of us on the team to participate and manage. For new users, sign in and sign up, login, and authentication, we decided on using Auth0 services, but we did not choose to use the database that it comes with the account that we created, and we connect Auth0 to our MongoDB database to save all the information in only one place, and it will be much easier to manage. Also, we use Python in our backend, like Yuri just mentioned, for machine learning process, which our team member Eddie will explain next.
So I'm going to talk about machine learning we used. We're using machine learning called recommender system to recommend restaurants to a user. And we're using collaborative filtering to build a recommender system. The idea of collaborative filtering is find a similar user based on their preference and recommend the item the similar user liked to the user. So next, I'm going to explain about collaborative filtering quickly. So now, the machine is trying to recommend a painting, teddy bear, PC, and a video game to user A, B, C, and D. And next, the machine is thinking whether it should recommend PC to user D or not. And what it does first is look for similar users, which is user B and C, because they have similar preference. And then next, it checks what they liked about what they say about PC. And it seems like they both said no to PC. So the machine decides to not recommend PC to user D. So this is a collaborative filtering. Next, Dylan will talk about some of the challenges we faced.
Thank you, Eri. So at the beginning of the project, we wanted to create an app that worked on multiple devices. So we focused on making an app for iOS and Android. Sorry about that. And so we wanted to ensure that the app was compatible and looked good on both Android and iOS. So the next challenge we had was finding a suitable cloud database and provider, because we wanted to carefully model our data and ensure that it was stored and used efficiently. And the last challenge we had was actually implementing the recommenders. So at the beginning of our project, we didn't have a lot of test data, so that affected the quality of our recommenders. So next, I'd like to talk about the future features. So our app, we would like users to share it with a partner. So in the future, we would like to add a recommendation for dating spots in their area so that the user and their partner can go to together. Another feature we'd like to add is adding more cities. So at the moment, only users in Tokyo can enjoy our app, and we want more people to have the opportunity to use it. And the last one we'd like to add is some sort of translation feature. So you notice that a lot of the data on the app was in Japanese. Well, we are in Tokyo, so obviously, but for English users, it might be quite difficult to understand or efficiently use the app. So we'd like to have some sort of translation feature for English speakers.
Thank you, Dylan, and thank you, team. Sadly, this brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you, audience, for listening and sharing your time with us. We really invite you to scan the QR code that must be around here, yes, to visit the Play Store and download our app. I want to thank you again and wish you a great evening.
Okay, great job, Team Uncle Sean. I don't don't know about those of you who have sort of, I'm not in the way, am I? Who have sort of long-term partners, but I have a feeling like this app could really save some relationships. So if you're down to go on dates with people in the near future, I recommend that you use their app. They work really, really hard on it, and it is awesome stuff. So right behind me and beside me, we have Team Music Men's. Again, with the obvious reasons. So we're pretty excited to present their app to you tonight. And they are going to be sharing Music Wand with you. And this app is designed to help you capture the melody in your mind. So let's see what that looks like in just a moment. I think we're getting set up with audio here. Good to go?
No, give me just a minute.
Okay, give him just a minute. So, this project was created in only 4 weeks, so the apps that you have seen here tonight have started out from a mere seed of an idea. We just throw students together with a team and hit go, and they're able to create this with very little guidance. Of course, we're here for them, but very, very little input from us. So we're really, really excited to see what they've done tonight. We're gonna see, we're trying to play a piano. It's not working.
It's gonna work in a second.
Okay, I hope so. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to, okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Team Music Men, and let's give it up for them.
So, wow, there's a lot of people. I'm super excited and super proud of the app that I made, and I'm here to present it to you guys. We're the Music Men, and before I get into it, I gotta introduce you guys to the team.
I gotcha. Don't worry.
Thank you. Alright, so I'm Austin. I was the tech lead for this project, and probably the only experienced musician. I worked on getting everybody on the same page because music is not something that everybody is super duper familiar with, and I wanted everybody to be working on the right things. I helped in the front end, I helped in the back end, and I made sure everybody was on the same page.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jesus, and I worked in UI skeleton, music visualization.
Hi, I'm Mattia, and I work at the database and the integration of the data with the front end.
Last, I'm Scott. I was mainly concerned with audio production, so building the sequencer and the sampler and the logic that converted our visual notes into music.
And so I'm going to be briefly explaining what our app is. Okay, so our app is a music composition app. And as you can see on the right, it looks something like this, and there's a score, and there's also all sorts of notes and stuff like that. The idea is that I want to be able to build and experiment with musical motifs quickly. A motif in music is just a really simple idea, so it could be like a little tune in your head or the foundation blocks for a big song that you might write. The reason why people will use this app, I think, is because it has a simple, easy-to-use layout. It's not designed to be like a complete songwriter. It's not supposed to have all the functionality that you want in a songwriting app, but it's supposed to get you started and get the little ideas down. And right now on the App Store, all the apps and all the music software they have is really bulky and can be really, really time-consuming to use. I don't really want that. I just want to quickly write down the notes that are in my head. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to be passing to Scott to give you guys a quick demo of what we have created.
Thank you, Austin. Let's get into it. Great, so here you see is the landing page for our app, Music Wand, and the front page is supposed to kind of mimic what you would imagine like the traditional notes app. It's just supposed to be simple. You're supposed to see what's on there. So here we already have 2 tracks that we've kind of composed it from our head, and we have play buttons on the side, so if you wanted to, you can listen to them right from this screen. So one we have here that was composed by an instructor here, Vic. It's great. You'll all enjoy it. Let's listen to it. Of a fan, I think Vic needs to go back to the drawing board on that one. All right. Oh, there's this Mario one. Let's listen to that one too. Oh, perfect. But maybe I'm going to add or mess around with it a little bit. So upon tapping on it, you can see we have the musical score here with the notes that are in our song already. So let's listen to it one more time. Oh no. There we go. Ooh, it's a little slow for me. I was planning on using this maybe at a rave, so let's bump up the tempo. 200 beats per minute? Let's do like 220. Let's see what that sounds like. Ah, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. But I have another idea in my head, and I want to start writing it down. So let's make Scott's Jam. And we're brought in. And we have a default song, but no, this is something I want to make myself, so let's clear everything. And here we can add some notes. So the score sheet will actually extend as long as I want it if we keep adding more notes. Let's keep adding a few more. Great. But I don't want to listen to the same note, so we can easily drag and drop, and you can actually drag them on top of each other to create chords if you want. So let's make a new song to listen to quickly. Ooh, it's looking good. You guys are gonna love it. I know you guys aren't musicians, so you don't know what this sounds like yet, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be good. Oh, and also for those of you who maybe aren't very good with drag and drop, or maybe it doesn't get quite where you want, you can actually tap on a note and it'll select and highlight purple. And we do have these fine-tuned controls at the top, so you can just set it up or down one note, or left or right one column as well. So this is my great song. You're all going to enjoy it. Let's listen to what that might sound like. Oh man, that's it. I'm going to save that, ship it off to Sony, and have a good time. So for some of us though, it might be hard to think about what musical notes are going to sound like, and I want to just quickly play and try and figure out what I want here. So we actually have a little keyboard that's 1 octave that you can play around on as well. So you can play one note at a time, or it does have multi-touch. So as many fingers as you have, you can play notes as well. Ooh, great sound. And for those of you who do like hidden features, we have a bonus key. Finally, this app was great, but I want to know more about the team and about the app. We do have on our settings page a little about the team with a link to our GitHub repo right here, and our individual team members and their individual GitHubs as well. And that brings us to the end of the demo. So I am going to switch off the demo, and I'm going to pass it to Mattia to talk about the tech stack.
All right, thank you, Scott. When we come up with that idea, the first thing we wanted was to give to our user a full offline experience. For that reason, we need to think about a way for store our data in the database. So for that reason, we decided to use the Realm, that is a real-time database. Our application is written by using Swift, and for the audio component, we use AudioKit. Next, Scott will talk about the challenge we face.
Thanks, Mattia. So, challenges we face. This was, when we were thinking about ideas, this was pretty much the hardest idea that we could come up with. We were going to all code in a new language, develop for a new platform, and do something that we've never done, like developing audio. So, along with that came a lot of challenges. So the first was drawing our score lines dynamically. So the score lines aren't images, they're actually paths that are having to be drawn. And we had to figure out how to draw them for every different size screen and different orientation, whether that be portrait on an iPhone or landscape on an iPad. Next was the dragging and snapping notes to lines. As you saw when I was grabbing with my finger, the notes will go kind of wherever you want, but when you need to release them, they kind of need to end up on the screen and on a line, and so the program can figure out what note to play and when to play it. Synchronization of data between local storage and the database. So we do want to store everything in the database so a user can log in and have their riffs that they wrote before available. But we were having issues where even if there was maybe a millisecond where there wasn't a match of data between local storage and database, that was crashing, and we had to find remedies to prevent that from happening. And dynamically creating music off of a music sheet. So the coordinates, or the way that our notes are actually stored, are actually just rows and columns. They're just actual coordinates on a grid. And so how do we take these coordinates and then render musical notes from that? And also combining SwiftUI and UIKit. SwiftUI is a new framework for Swift that was only released about a year ago. So it's still very new and in development. And because of that, there's not a lot of support for it. And so we had to use old UIKit elements and figure out also how you combine kind of older elements into the new framework. Next, I'm going to pass it to Austin to talk about kind of the learnings and the great insights that we had from this project.
Yeah, so this is a really unique project for all of us because none of us have ever used Swift before. And we come from a JavaScript background, and in JavaScript, types don't really matter. You just kind of write whatever. But in Swift, you really have to think about your types, and we found it really enjoyable, actually, to use a strictly typed language. It's concise, it's precise, and it was a lot less confusing to write with types in mind. Second thing that is unique to this project that I found really interesting, and I'm sure all of us found really interesting, is how to produce audio in applications. And the core of the app is producing audio. And we all had to learn about what audio is, what sound is, and all of that came with a lot of industry terms like oscillations, frequencies, sound envelopes, and all sorts of things. And parsing through that information, you get to learn a lot. And we only have 4 months, and we gotta condense all this information, and we gotta quickly make an app that gets the nitty-gritty down. And we all really enjoyed that, and we found it very rewarding. Me and Mattia had to work tirelessly with Realm Database. We know that there are other options for local storage, such as core data, but we found it to be a bit too complicated and too confusing for beginners like us, and we decided to use Realm Database. The thing about Realm Database is that it's a non-relational database, and most of us here have been using relational databases such as Postgres, whatnot, and so we're used to writing like entities and models and stuff like that. And it was just a huge challenge to really get our heads wrapped around using a non-relational database. But at the end of the day, we found it really rewarding, and we really like how fast and quickly you can actually access the data using Realm. Next, we were thinking about mobile app designs. None of us are iOS developers. This is our first time developing a mobile-first application. And it's kind of tricky because you don't really think about how your app looks or runs on an iPad or an iPhone, or all sorts of iPhones and all sorts of dimensions. And we had a lot of funny bugs where it's like it looks fine on the iPhone, and then you put it on an iPad and everything is just squished or broken, and it just looks like a total mess. And it's extremely rewarding to figure out how to make everything work for every app, for every device. And all of us, I think, had a great experience working in that new mindset. Yeah, and finally, we have deployed this app on the App Store, and it's just rewarding to see your own app on the App Store. Finally, I'll be passing it to Jesus to talk about feature features.
In regards to the features, we would like to implement playing multiple tracks simultaneously. Along with that, we would like to have sharing tracks with friends via MP3 or sharing them with the program. Backup tracks to the cloud so that you can use your app in any other device and have your tracks ready for you. Along with that, we want to have different notes so that half notes, triplets, and etc. Along with that, we want to have different type of instruments, not just piano, but something like a guitar of the sorts. And also be able to write down our thoughts or change comments or something to that effect and put it in the note. Also, highlighting notes while playing, it's something that would be very nice to have a visual cue. The song is being played. Have some.
Great. So that's it for our presentation. Like Austin said, this is on the App Store. The QR code on the left, if you scan it, will take you there. Otherwise, you can search for Music Wand app, one word. Or on the right, we have a link to the public GitHub repository if you want to see how we made it, or if you even want to contribute. That's it. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your night.
Okay, thank you so much, Team Music Men's. Awesome work, awesome presentation. Yeah, their project was super hard, and we heard a lot of groaning and crying and weeping over the past 4 weeks. But I think, again, the results speak for themselves, so congratulations to them for creating this. And all of you musicians out there, I definitely recommend you try it, and hopefully you can come up with something that sounds a little bit better than what we heard tonight. Sorry, guys. Always constructive feedback, right? Okay, so up last, as you can see, but certainly not least, I mean, come on, look at these team, they're amazing, is Team Hachiko. So Hachiko is presenting an app called Furball Tales, and that is going to be the one-stop app for all of you furball parents out there. And so for those of you who are in Japan and who may not know what a furball is, you're going to find out in just a moment. So it seems like Furball Tales, you guys ready to go? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to them. Let's give it up.
Okay, thanks, Cesar. Hello and welcome everyone. We are Team Hachiko. Thank you very much for coming tonight. We would like to present our amazing application, Furball Tales. It's a one-stop app for furball parents. Do you have a pet? And have you ever had a difficulty in taking care of your pets? Furball Tales is for you. But first, I will introduce our team members. We were all focused on full-stack engineering roles, specializing in different parts of the app. This is our fearless leader, Jimmy.
Hello.
This is Ayumi, and she was medical genius and dog walker.
Hi guys.
And this is Mr. and he was the keeper of time. Hello. I'm Ryohei. They called me database king. Last, Yuta is our style guru and statman.
Hi everyone.
So I'll hand it over to Yuta to talk about pet markets.
Okay, thanks Ryohei for great interaction with us. So I'd like to talk about Japan's pet market. So it's huge. About 40% of people have pets. That's an amazing number. And people spend more than 5,000 yen per month on grooming purpose alone. I even don't spend for my haircut. And as a result, Japan's pet market is over 1.6 trillion. I can imagine that kind of number. Yes, that's huge. So that means there are many potential users for our app. But that means at the same time we have to make who will use our app actually to make our app actually used. So we made our persona for clear market value. So let me introduce our persona, Mary. So who is she? So she is in her early 30s and she owns super cute bubbles. And then what are her difficulties? So she's actually very busy and she has difficulty in keeping track of her own pet's information and she even sometimes forgets vet appointments. That's very bad for her bubbles. So she really wants to keep track of her pet's information in just one place. So I will pass to our great tech lead, Jimmy, for demo.
Thank you very much, Yuta. There's some great stats there by the stat man. So, as you open our app, Furball Tales, you get hit with our great dashboard home screen. So we have some pets pre-registered because we need to show it for this purpose. And we'll click into Ben first. And look how cute Ben is. So Ben is actually Ayumi's pet in real life. So there's only 222 days until Ben's birthday. So, I mean, not too far. Yeah. Alright, so recently we got a new pet as a team. You can see all my pets actually. So you can register a new pet if you want. So Hachiko is going to be our pet name. And let's just say male for now. And the birthday is the 1st of September. Very, very young pet. That's when we first started this project. And you can select a profile picture for your new pet. So we will show. Let's show the top one there. Yeah, so you can select that. So after selecting that, it will show up within your dashboard, and you can also view it sort of like how we viewed Ben. Yeah, and you can also view our other cool features there. So for example, we have memos, just in case you need to write something down really quickly on the fly. Buy dog food, we've already done that, so we can take that away. Yeah, but take Ben on a walk. All right, let's do that. So let's go back to the dashboard, go into the walk functionality feature, and begin our walk. And this will be a walker countdown. So it's going to be a short walk this evening. So let's stop the walk, and it will take you immediately to how was your walk. So we walked Ben, and Ben was okay today. He was about a 4 out of 5. And we also have a poop tracker. Yes, a poop tracker. It's for medical purposes, trust me. So, Ben pooped twice, 2 times. And how was the poop consistency? Oh, Ben's been feeling pretty bad lately, so like a waterfall, unfortunately. Oh, poor Ben. So maybe we need to see what Ben's diet has been like. So let's add that walk really quickly, and you can also see the history of your walks. And Hachiko's new, so he doesn't have any history, but Ben's got a lot of history. Taken Ben for a lot of walks. And also some statistics here. You can see a nice little graph layout. So let's go back to food, and let's see how Ben has been doing with his food. This will show you what percentage of the bowl that Ben has eaten. So it's been a little bit up and down, so maybe we need to change his brand. So if you go into the plus button, you can also add how much he's eaten, what percentage, what brand name, things like that. So, keeping your dog's weight is also very important, or any of your furballs, for that matter. So, let's go into Ben's weight and see how he's been doing. Yeah, he's been doing all right. Yeah, a little bit of up and down, but I think that's pretty successful. So, yeah, just recently he's kind of taken a dip, so maybe we do need a change. I think we need to change his diet, yeah. So let's go out of that, and we also have a great feature for adding albums. Now this can be used for like a day at the park, for example, but it can also be used for medical photos. So to commemorate this great demo day, let's add an album called Demo Day. And once you've done that, you can go into that and either take a photo from your device or just take it from the camera. So let's take a picture, because I think it'll be pretty fun. Oh no, I was looking away. Oh well, that doesn't matter. So after adding that photo, it will show up, and then you can click into the photo once it's loaded, and you can zoom in, zoom out, do all of that good stuff if you want to. We look really good, don't we? Yeah. Alright. So, back to Hachiko. Hachiko's a really, really new dog, so we need to take Hachiko to the vet. Made a vet appointment, but I need to write on our calendar. So, we click the little plus button, and we can add an event. So, for this Saturday, the 26th, I think, at 12:30 p.m. we have a vet appointment. So you can put in the appointment and the more information about it. For example, if in the description we could put in Hachiko, because it's Hachiko's vet appointment. And after adding, it will show up on our calendar, and you can edit, delete it, do all that sort of stuff, all that good stuff. So now it is Saturday afternoon, and we've been to the vet. So we go over to our vet information page, and you can add history to that, select the date, and go through the hospital, the vet name, all of the vaccinations, the medications, all really, really important stuff that you need to take care of all your furballs. So let's just add that, and let's go to Ben actually, because we've got a lot of information from Ben. Oh, not as much as I thought, actually. All right, so it's a pretty cool app, right? We all like the app, so you want to know a little bit more about the app. You can go to the profile and go to the About area, and you can see more about our project. And it says our vision, our mission, our values, and of course more about our products. And it also shows all of the people that were part of this amazing team. And all of our GitHubs are also linked to that. So if you would like to click on that and see what we're working on, you can do that. Another area that you can see is our app tutorial. This actually shows up as well when you first register and first register your first pet as well. But if you miss it, if you swipe through it too quickly at the beginning because you're so eager to get into our app, then you can view it on our About page as well. And then the last little feature there is just a little donation page mentioning if you want to donate to us, we're more than welcome to accept that. We love cheeseburgers and coffee, not particularly in that order. So that is our app, and I will now pass it over to Mukhtar, who will explain more about our behind-the-scenes process.
Thank you, Jimmy, for nice demo. So we built nice app. So how we started in the beginning? We told every idea that we have every member. Then after that, we divided our top ideas in MVP and the final goal. Then we decided on verbal tales. So to work as a great team, we needed the same purpose, energy level, and the feeling of achievement. So after that, we decided to make our mission, vision, and the values for this project. Our vision, becoming a leading and lasting company in the pet app industry. So our mission, strengthening the bond of owners, pets, more than ever. Our values, the first is communication. Communicate and share everything that as a lasting team. The second is tackle accomplishing, even it seems impossible. The last is to give users up-to-date technology and design. So our communication tool was Notion. We shared everything in every task on Notion. You can see our to-do list that we do every day. So every day we had a short stand-up meeting every morning, every evening that you can see the meeting notes. The next, Ayumi will tell us about tech stack.
Thank you, Mukhtar. So starting with development, we used Flutter, a Google UI toolkit, Dart for our programming language, which is a programming language developed by Google for developing apps on multiple platforms. For design, we used Affinity Designer and Adobe XD. Firebase, yet another Google service, for our authentication and cloud database. And finally, for deployment, we use CodeMagic, and our app is deployed on the Google Play Store. The challenges faced, there were a lot. As you may know, Code Chrysalis is a JavaScript bootcamp, but our app is entirely built using Dart. So learning a new language while navigating Flutter's vague errors was a huge undertaking for us. Widget properties. Widgets are either super customizable or not customizable at all. It just really depends on what properties are included. And the documentation was not always very clear. Stack management. So mobile apps work by layering stacks and popping them off and on. We had some trouble determining where in the stack we needed to update the information to get it to render properly on the top stack. Authentication. When we first started, we were not aware that each one of us needed our own SHA-1 fingerprint. So we spent about 1 or 2 weeks trying to figure out why some of us were seeing information and others were not. Rendering the real-time database using the stream builder. The real-time database is a JSON object. And Dart is a strictly typed language. So getting everything to render using the stream builder was challenging. Image storage into Firebase storage and real-time database. As I mentioned, the real-time database is a JSON object. And so when we first decided to use it, we were not aware that it would not be able to handle image storage. So we had to use a separate Firebase storage and link it into the real-time database. Lastly, using Dart package management and dependencies. About 2 weeks into our project, we had this huge merge conflict, which almost broke our app and our repository. Luckily, we had a pull request that had most of our information, which we used to fix our repository. But had we not been able to do that, we would not have such a full-featured app to show you today. Next, I'd like to pass on to Ryohei, who will talk about future features.
Thanks, Amy. And future features, our first feature, alert and push notifications. Next, render photo albums. Sometimes users may want to look at the photos when they were taken. This function offers this. Next, AI to recognize pets info in photos. Taken photos will be organized by the pet's face. Next, SNS capabilities. So users can share their experiences and interact with friends and other users. Last, map of broker. This will record router tracking where the user decided to work on that day. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening, and you can check out our Fireball Tales with QR code on the left. And the QR code on the right will take you to our GitHub repository. That's it. Thank you.
I love how the ears are coming off already. So thank you very much, Team Hachiko. That was amazing. I know a couple of furball parents who will definitely be using your app in the future, and we're going to hear from them in just a second. So before we get into that, I just want everyone to give another huge round of applause for CC13. So as they are in a position to tell you, and so are our grads, this is not an easy course. And on top of that, they had to do the whole thing in the global pandemic. On top of that, they were our first truly hybrid course. So every single project, every single pair programming session that they did throughout the course, at least for some of them, was done on a distributed team. So not only were they able to actually face a challenge that a lot of companies now are still struggling with, and people with years of experience working at this are still struggling with, and finishing a really, really tough boot camp, they did it with such awesome grace. So if any of you are thinking about hiring software engineers, I recommend this gritty, wonderful, resourceful bunch from the bottom of my heart. They are truly amazing people, and I think they would make a great addition to your team. It's a bit emotional for me whenever I get to this point, because it's the end of another 3 months with such an inspiring group of individuals. So I'm a bit sorry to release them to you, but it has to be done. So really, really, really good job, CC13. I'm proud of you. I know the rest of the instruction team is also proud of you. And so I hear a furball in the audience here tonight. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to one of our co-founders, Yan, to help wrap things up.
Thank you. Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming. I just want to make this short and sweet. This year, weird year, not a great year. We have some wonderful software engineers in the room, but we would be remiss to forget the 3 who are joining us online. So I want to give them especially a shout out. Eduardo in Hokkaido, Alberto in Mexico. Had to deal with the time zone difference too, which is crazy. It is 4 a.m. there right now, or something like that. Something crazy. And then of course Florian from Germany. So we have people from 2 different continents joining in and taking part in this. So just the grit and determination to get through just the lag, the time lag is crazy. And of course, Ryohei and Dylan as well, who are here with us today, but they spent a significant portion of their time in this cohort working with the team remotely. So I want to give a big clap to all of them. Yeah, and I also really want to thank our staff. So especially in the current situation that we're in, there's so much stress, personal stress, like things happening with our lives, our health, our family that we wouldn't usually experience, or we would experience under less duress. There's so much going on also politically, especially if you're American. There's so much just going on with our world that we're not used to, and we're certainly not used to all of that happening at the same time. And so I'm just always floored and amazed by Heather, by Melvin, by Vic, by Eriko, Ari, Felix, Iku, who else? Steffi, Connie, Dustin. Dustin, you're hiding. Jill, Steve, and who am I forgetting? Rafa, where is Rafa? Oh, Rafa's at home. Okay, Rafa, hi Rafa. And everyone else just for always coming in, and first thing is always talking about how the students are doing, where their tech skills are at, how they're working with each other, what they're going to be doing after the course, what maybe their personal drama is. Like, it's always, despite everything going on, like that has always been the main topic of discussion. And that I think is just touching and makes me want to cry when I think about it. But we really do believe in all of the people who share their time with us here. It's 3 months full time. A lot of these people are dealing with stresses in their life as well, right? Changing careers, quitting their full-time jobs to do this. So we don't forget any of that every single day. And so I want to give a big round of applause to our staff for dealing with that, for the students for making it through the summer, the heat of the summer, making it through COVID, making it through the Code Chrysalis curriculum, which are arguably probably harder than all of those. So big round of applause for them. Yay! And I promise I'm done. Thank you to the people who came in the audience. We have a few people. It's not like pre-COVID days where we would have just crowds packed. Remember when we could be like shoulder to shoulder and not worry about dying? So it used to be like that. But thank you so much for the people who came today. This is the first time in a long time that we've opened our doors to the public. For a while, we shut our doors even to alums. So it's also great to see some faces, some familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while. So thank you for coming and braving COVID and Typhoon Dolphin. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I would, I guess, like to wrap things. Connie, you want to say hi? Say a few words? I'm going to drag you up here. I'm sorry. Just say hi. Well, just a hi. Just a hi.
Right. Konnichiwa. Anyone speak only Japanese today? Everybody speak English. Okay. Florian, Eduardo, Alberto, it's amazing to have you guys really. ちょっと日本語で喋ります。I know. Yan did a great job. I don't have to repeat that in English, but I would like to say a few words for our Japanese audience, if that's okay. 今日は本当にオンラインでありがとうございます。 このクラスには、実はドイツとメキシコと、北海道からのオンラインで参加している生徒もいて、初めてのハイブリッドで本当にオンサイト、オンライン、両方の生徒を招いて、行ったコースなんですけども、いろいろ、スムーズではなかったと思いますけども、この学校の特徴としては、いつも最先端にチャレンジするっていう心があるんですね。なので、次回はもっとスムーズになると思いますし、毎回、コースは良くなってるって僕は、生徒さんに言ってます。でも本当にそういうパイオニアスピリットを持った、学生が集まる、環境で学校で本当にうちらも毎日皆さんのエネルギーを感じて、やってきてるもんです。だから本当に、オンサイトの皆様とオンラインの皆さん、本当に大変だと思うけど、本当に頑張ってくれてありがとうございます。イエーイ
Thanks for letting me drag you up here, Connie. I have one more announcement. Next slide. Yes! Mark your calendars. CC13 and CCJ2 all the way back there. They're currently working on their projects for tomorrow. But they're going to be graduating November 29th. Yeah! Yay! So please mark your calendars and come see them. They will actually, it's about a little bit more than halfway through their immersive class right now, and they are actually presenting for the first time their API night projects tomorrow. We've partnered with Stripe this time, so they have used the Stripe APIs to create some awesome apps, and they will be presenting them tomorrow. So if you're interested in seeing where our students are when they're about halfway through the course, I think that's a good place to check out. So yeah, mark your calendars, November 29th, same time, 7:30. I wish I could turn the camera over, but they're all standing in the back nervously. Oh, thank you, Felix. Yeah, there we are. Yay! So yeah, with that, we are ending tonight. Thank you all for coming. I hope you all brought umbrellas. And I hope you stay dry, stay safe, wear a mask. Thanks.
Woo.